Welcome to POSTCAST tonight. David Locke along with Ron Boone. The Jazz defeat the World Champion San Antonio Spurs by the final score of 100-96. And I mean, there are a lot of different aspects of this game to talk about. There's individual performances, there's group performances, but probably, Ron, on the theme of what we talked about so many nights, it's been a good start that then falls apart, and that didn't happen tonight. The Jazz bench, led by Alec Burks offensively, Rudy Gobert defensively, had a very good second quarter that kept the Jazz in a game. I mean, this losing streak, they have been trailing until last night by over 17 points in every game of the losing streak. Tonight, they never fell behind by more than 5, I don't think, or maybe 4, and they stayed in the game all night, and that's a credit to the whole group because that group kept them in the game.
I thought it was anchored as well there by Rudy. Rudy had a pretty good second quarter there. I mean, the Jazz outscored the San Antonio Spurs there by 2, 23-21, but that had to be the key to the game. Now, we can throw out everything that the Jazz did tonight, including that finish, which was a little scary there for a minute.
Suboptimal would be the phrase.
But that second quarter was what gave the Jazz, I thought, a chance to win the basketball game, put them in a position they hadn't been, in quite some time going into the half.
Second thing that they haven't done a lot is when someone else goes and hits them with force, being able to play back, and they made some plays. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as shots went in. Alec hit a 3 and Trey hit a 3 early, and the Spurs came out. They were jumping passing lanes. The Jazz were having a hard time with it. They were denying, and the Jazz hit some shots. They, frankly, this, it's a cliche, but you got to make shots in this league. And the Jazz made some shots tonight, and that let them withstand the pressure that San Antonio was putting on them early in the third.
Yeah, both teams shot a pretty good percentage, but I thought early in the basketball game, the Jazz very aggressive. They did a lot of things well. They were scoring in the paint, but San Antonio was missing a lot of open shots. The Jazz made them pay for it. Their defense, I thought, was superb. The Jazz responded to their defensive scheme that they were putting on them, especially overplaying the wings, and Derek Favors, step forward. But you're playing a team that's just goes about their business and gets the job done. And I'm talking about the San Antonio Spurs. And then the Jazz responded to what they were throwing. That was very impressive, I think.
4 of 20 from 3 tonight for the Spurs. They only end up with 1 of them in the entire second half of the game. That's a sign that the Jazz defense was not getting broken down on dribble penetration. Obviously, no Tony Parker helps on that. But then also, there were numerous plays where you saw the help defense in the paint get out to a three-point shooter.
Yeah, that's key. And you and I have watched practice. We've watched shoot-arounds. We know that they want to close out on threes, run them off the three-point line, and it's so much as to, just fly at them. I mean, and sometimes you run right past them, but you want them to get off the free throw line, and they did a little bit of that, and then pressuring the three-point where there's a hand in their face. I mean, that makes a difference, I think.
You and Thurl Bailey both talked about how impressed you were by the play of our big men tonight.
Yeah.
What was it that jumped out at you?
Well, they accepted the challenge, I think, and they got good shots. It was obvious, I think, that the coaching strategy was to make the big guys beat them, and Derek Favors responded. He played a very good basketball game. You look at that line there with 8 rebounds, the 3 of them on the offensive glass. He took 20 shots, so that's the most shots he's taken, in a game in quite some time. And then Kanter did his thing. I mean, he had a great basketball game there as well, with 15 rebounds and 4 of those coming on offensive glass, even though in the closing, 3-4 minutes of the ball game, he wasn't in there. You really can't have him in there, especially with the lineup that the Spurs put out there on the floor. But the bigs, they played well. They rebounded very well. They challenged shots, and the big thing is that they get into foul trouble and made themselves available there in that fourth quarter.
I love the Derek Favors night tonight because to me, it's when you win 25 games a year, we may do that again this year. Those are tough years for fans. So you got to find things to chew into, and it's hard because it's like there are these little mini victories inside. But Derek Favors tonight had a tough start, and against one of the greatest players to ever play in the league. And I'm not convinced that at last March or last January that he fights through that night with enough will and fight to go get 21 points and 8 rebounds and make a bunch of big plays late. I think this is a sign of a guy who has learned a little bit and believes in himself, and he has that experience in his back pocket now that he can go to and say, you know what, all right, I'm fighting harder rather than, oh, I'm just defeated tonight. And sometimes we see guys not play with what we call the effort. I think it's the confidence, and he played with confidence tonight.
Another big thing, David, is that he didn't, usually in the past or recently, he's been picking up those early fouls and just taking himself out of the basketball game where he cannot get into it and get into a rhythm. That didn't happen tonight. He ended up with 4 fouls, but 2 of those fouls came in late, with some questionable block shots. And
questionable.
He was able to.
I don't know. It's a podcast. Can I say what they were?
Yes, go ahead.
On the broadcast, I can't say the BS word, but on this, I probably could. I'd probably get in trouble anyway, but that's what they were.
But, he stayed on the floor, got into a rhythm, and I just really love the way he played. I just hope the Jazz can play when it. If you lose a basketball game with the way they played tonight, you can't complain that much.
Right.
But if they can play this way, and they're going to win a lot of basketball games for the rest of the year.
Interesting. I mean, I was texting with Quinn last night, and he was positive about that performance in Sacramento. He felt as though there was a better engaged effort in the Sacramento game than they had seen in a while. So they do feel as though they've made some steps, and they're going to be little tiny steps along the way. They're not going to be easy to see all the time, and obviously it manifested itself tonight. But I think that's somewhat what we're dealing with.
We've watched him teach in practice. We've
Gifts
even gone so far as to watch him.
Holiday gifts are arriving.
How about this?
It's very nice. Thank you very much. See, you can bring us gifts.
Yeah, absolutely.
We accept gifts. They're fine.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
It's very, very kind.
From the doc.
Yes.
But what was I saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever the
We
case.
got holiday gifts.
But staying in the basketball game is going to be a key. And I know what I'm saying. We've watched Coach Snyder teach, not only in practice, but he does a lot during the basketball game there as well. You watch him take players out, talk to them, correct the mistake that they had just made, and put them right back into the game. That starts to work for you after a while, especially because you make a mistake, and if you get taken out of the basketball game, it's for a reason, but I'm going to put you right back in there, and it's not like you're being punished.
I asked him about it today. You know what he called it?
No.
He goes, David, it's called accountability.
Accountability, okay.
It's like, that is.
But you don't feel like you're being punished.
Right, but I'm holding guys accountable. Yeah. If I tell them if they do this, I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to talk to them about it. Enes Kanter has been this has been interesting for me, because if you listen to talk radio and you listen to the fans, Enes Kanter's been terrible. If you talk to the coaches, Enes Kanter's been making really significant strides. I think we saw it tonight. He was a force tonight.
He's definitely a force, and especially on the offensive end of the floor. I mean, that's, if you want to talk about the progress and how he's improved. And then again, what is he? He's been in the league. 22 years old. He didn't start playing basketball till he was 15. He doesn't know how to play.
Right.
He's learning how to play, but he has a great athletic ability that his offense is so far ahead of his defense, and defense is what gets him in trouble. So he's,
and the coaches feel like his defense is improving.
It is improving
a lot. Now, maybe it's coming from base zero, but it's improving a good deal.
Yeah.
Let's take some quick questions from Andy. Should we not read into this victory too much, or is this the kind of win that can springboard our play the rest of the season? I mean, again, I think we get into, if you're looking for that to manifest itself in wins and losses, then no, don't read into it.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it to, the little victories along the way, then absolutely, yes, I do think that this is a springboard. Phil Johnson talks about this all the time. It's so much easier to coach off good lessons than bad lessons, and they need to believe a little bit. 9-game losing streak with a new coach who they all know is very good. They still need some confirmation that things are going the right direction.
And I know we say that if they play like this all the time, it's impossible to play like this all the time. I mean, there's different ways to win basketball games, and the one thing about a young basketball team, you have to figure those things out. How to read into to this game plan against probably the best, I think, in the league. It tells you right there that we can do it. I think the confidence is what we're looking at with these players. Once you beat a team like this, your confidence has to be a little high, and you just go forward from there.
And next from James Hansen, did you see better pressure tonight, or did the Spurs just have an off night shooting?
I thought they had an off night shooting early in the basketball game, but I thought also that the defense was good. Now, you can't shoot well every night, and obviously that because the Jazz and every team in the league goes through that. But the fact that the Jazz defense was much better than it has been, then that really helped the Jazz.
Well, I think there are little victories. You need little moments along the way. You need little things you can check back and feel good about yourself. This team lost its confidence. It lost its zest for a little bit because it had bad things happen to it. Here's a good one. Let's see what they can do. They get 2 games off before they go to Friday. And boy, I'll tell you what, that long road trip is going to be a lot better going on just because of one win. We may go on that road trip having lost 10 of our last 11, but it's not having lost 11 straight. And that's a world of difference.
This Miami team coming in here, they're not bad. You know, they're 9-11, I think, right now. And Bosh is probably the key. Dwayne Wade in and out of the lineup. This could be a ball game the Jazz could win before going out on this long road trip. Be nice.
Great crowd tonight. Be a part of it on Friday. Get your tickets. That's Ron Boone. I'm David Locke. That is POSTCAST.